The notice issued by the Social Security Bureau, everyone sees it, right? In my opinion, it's a double-edged sword. Look, among the 200 million flexible workers at the end of 2021, nearly 50 million didn't pay into Social Security. It's not that they don't want protection, it's that the system is truly flawed. Please stop messing with us, the lower classes. We really can't bear it. Too many people are coming to cancel their insurance today. Oh my god, it's packed with people. Social Security has been mandated. Let me tell you, a mandatory 8-hour workday and a mandatory 2-day weekend aren't far off. And then the mandatory paid New Year's holiday. Let me tell you something terrifying. Someone paid into Social Security for 15 years, and when they are about to retire, their contributions are confiscated. Not a penny can they get. All their investment is wasted. The recent audit report really irritates people. 13 provinces diverted over $3.8 billion from urban and rural residents' pension funds to repay local debt and fill the gap in the government's 3 guarantees programs. Young people have their monthly salary deducted for Social Security, but their money is being used like this. Who would be happy about this? It wasn't until I saw this news that I understood why Social Security was rising so quickly. I originally thought it was just because there were too many elderly people receiving high pensions. But I didn't realize there were also some corrupt moths. As a result, current contributions aren't enough to support these elderly and corrupt individuals, so they have to desperately raise them to fill this massive hole. For those of us working in companies where the company pays the bulk of the contributions, it doesn't really matter to them. But for someone like me who works in Hangzhou and runs a small studio, having to pay $238 a month is a lot, and it really hurts. The Supreme People's Court of China recently issued a judicial interpretation requiring employees to pay Social Security contributions for their employees starting September 1st. Any agreement to waive Social Security contributions will be invalid. This has caused a huge uproar and sparked public outcry. Faced with public backlash and pressure, the party media could no longer hold out. On August 16th, the CCP's official media, People's Daily, and several mainland media outlets published articles claiming that mandatory Social Security for all citizens was a misunderstanding of the policy. They stated that paying Social Security has always been mandatory, not just now, which some self-media outlets are attempting to do to attract attention, mislead the public, and create confusion. In response, netizens commented, "A stress test resulted in overwhelming public outcry, scaring them back." So why has the CCP's mandatory Social Security contribution sparked such widespread public outrage? Let's find out in this episode. Some even ask whether it's the employees who need Social Security or the Social Security that needs our money. However, currently, if companies add $140 to their employees' Social Security contributions, they'll go bankrupt. Or employees will leave immediately after deducting $140 from their wages. It's not that they don't want to pay Social Security, but that they're left with nothing after paying for food, utilities, rent, and raising children in debt. Regarding the new Social Security regulations, I have 2 big questions, and they immediately popped off in my mind after reading them. The first is that many small business owners themselves do not have Social Security, so how can their employees contribute? I'd say that 99% of self-employed business owners don't have Social Security themselves. Everyone agrees with this. If you disagree, ask your business owners, big or small, if they have Social Security. The biggest reason isn't that they don't want to, but they can't continue their business if they pay. This applies to small business owners. Those losing their jobs at this time aren't from large businesses, but small and medium-sized enterprises, including some employees in restaurants and food service establishments. Many business owners can't afford to have everyone contribute to Social Security, and if they don't, they'll face penalties. Then there are 2 questions. How to pay $140 per person in Social Security? It means the cost of the manpower will increase by $140. Should it be deducted from the employee's salary? If it's deducted, the employee will be short of about $210 in total. Will he accept the job then? It's not that we don't want to pay Social Security, but we simply don't have the money. A monthly salary of $1,121 sounds like a lot, but after deducting Social Security, only $967 remains. After paying rent, utilities, food, and transportation, the remaining balance at the end of the month makes us feel like working for nothing. Secondly, the payment period is long, and if something unexpected happens, you'll lose money. If you change jobs and lose your contributions, you'll lose everything. Thirdly, young people worry, who can guarantee I'll get my retirement pension in the future?
让我现在强制去交这些东西。
I'm being forced to pay these things now. I think about it. My parents at home still receive a $140 pension, and I really don't want to pay $140 more every month to support other elderly people. Some people ask what I'll do when I'm old. Old age is a matter for the future. For now, I'm just taking care of my own elderly parents first. I'll take care of my children, and what happens to the others later is a matter for the future.
其他的我以后怎么样，那是以后的事情了。
说真的，我前几天真的不觉得社保新规它会有多大的影响力。
To be honest, a few days ago, I really didn't think the new Social Security regulations would have much of an impact because they're not something new, but simply being seriously proposed again. However, yesterday, while chatting with a friend, I realized the seriousness. Before joining, my friend and their boss agreed on a probationary salary of $700 for a 3-month period, followed by a base salary of $840 after becoming a regular employee. Then, a few days ago, their boss suddenly changed his mind, citing the poor environment and high labor costs, saying it's the same everywhere. I don't know if the boss heard online rumors like some bloggers saying that small businesses have high labor costs and might cut salaries or undergo layoffs, so the boss might change his idea.
他们就开始耍赖皮了。
Mainland financial blogger Zhou Yaojin commented on social media that the two most pressing questions are: first, why is it mandatory? Second, what is the reason for so much opposition? He believes that first, the pension gap cannot be filled, and the government's mandatory Social Security policy has two considerations.
9月1号起，社保新规来了。
New Social Security regulations will take effect on September 1st. Starting from September 1st, individuals will no longer be allowed to give up Social Security contributions voluntarily, and employers are required to pay a penalty if they don't. With the new policy, is it really necessary to pay for it? What's the difference between having Social Security and not having it?
保和没社保有啥区别？
你说从工资里面扣吧，本来就只有2000多一个月的工资。
You said it should be deducted from wages. The salary is only a little over $280 a month, and that doesn't include food or housing. For example, couriers and waiters in Suzhou basically make about this level of salary. If their company deducts the money and uses it for insurance, they'll only have a little over $140 left. Is that enough to live on? Definitely not. If it were you, would you still be willing to work?
如果是你，还愿不愿意干？
By 2025, China's population over 60 will have exceeded 300 million. Over the next 5 to 10 years, an average of 25 million people will retire annually, while only about 17 million new workers will be added during the same period. Structural imbalances are putting the current pension model under tremendous pressure. Data from the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security of China also confirms the crisis of trust in the system. As of March 2025, more than 42 million people nationwide had stopped paying their Social Security contributions, with a 31.7% non-payment rate for those aged 25 to 35, and a 38% non-payment rate for those in flexible employment. In China, flexible employment is a new term coined by the CCP for unemployment. In the first quarter of 2025, over 23% of young people voluntarily stopped paying their Social Security contributions, an increase of 8.6 percentage points from the same period last year. The blogger reveals that many small business owners are saying they will go bankrupt. Due to the limited operational capacity, the additional costs of Social Security payments may be the final straw that breaks the camel's back. Against the backdrop of China's ongoing economic weakness, the new Social Security regulations are having a significant impact on small and medium-sized enterprises, particularly in labor-intensive sectors such as catering and retail. Industry estimates suggest that strict implementation of mandatory Social Security will cause the profit margins of many small and micro-enterprises to shrink to less than 5%, and some may even exit the market altogether. He believes that for workers, the biggest concern right now isn't retirement, as the retirement age for those born in the 1980s and 90s is likely to be delayed to around 65. Many people online are expressing doubts about whether they can live to 65, given the current workload and concerns about food safety.
有社保的人说必须交，你不交就是蠢。没有社保的人
Those with Social Security say you must pay and not paying is foolish. Those without say you can't afford it and it's hard to survive. The result is a reciprocal accusation with neither convincing the other. But the question is, what does it have to do with other people whether I pay or not? Do we all have the right to make our own decisions, like whether to eat dumplings with vinegar or pay Social Security? Some people have pensions exceeding 10,000 yuan, while others are still sweeping the streets at 65. Instead of asking where the money went, they criticize the poor for not paying Social Security. We should all ask, who is cracking the whip and who is eating the fodder?
到底是谁在抽鞭子，谁在吃草料？
可能是第一家为了躲避硬性社保而关闭的公司了。
This may be the first company to close down to avoid mandatory Social Security contributions. An electronics factory in Huizhou, Guangdong chose to close and deregister before August 31st. The reason is that companies had to pay Social Security contributions starting September 1st. The factory owner explained that profits were already low and he was worried that paying Social Security contributions would not cover expenses, so he simply decided to close the factory and seek other opportunities.
选择把厂子关闭了，他准备另谋出路。
社保我不知道好不好，但是我们
I don't know if Social Security contributions are a good thing, but our company is already bankrupt. Yesterday, I thought I was the only one being laid off, but it turns out the boss laid him off too. Good.
真好。
因为9月1号社保新规问题让人失业。
The new regulations on September 1st result in job losses. The restaurant owner downstairs has started hiring temporary workers. Unable to afford the increased Social Security costs, they let the dishwasher and cashier go and hired temporary workers instead. The dishwasher makes $350 and the cashier makes $490. According to the minimum payment, the total employee and company contribution is a little over $140. Leaving them with only around 140 to 280 in actual earnings. So, they're on strike. This is everyone's concern about Social Security. Anyway, I hope things get better for workers.
怎么说都希望打工人越来越好吧。
社保新规要从9月1号开始。
The new Social Security regulations will take effect on September 1st. I'm afraid I won't be able to keep my work-from-home job. They say all employers are required to pay their employees Social Security, even if the employees choose to opt out. I signed an agreement to voluntarily give up Social Security. There are still over 40 people in my company. The company started last year. Since the start of the project phase, things have been gradually declining, and this year has been even more challenging. That's why the boss hired a few people to work from home to save money. However, monthly salaries and management fees still cost tens of thousands of yuan. If the Social Security of people working from home were paid, it would be even more difficult for the company.
对公司来说更是难上加难。
Recently, several regions, including Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, have introduced policies that prevent children from attending school and cancel medical insurance benefits if parents fail to pay Social Security. Many people lament that they can't afford to live or die, and if they pay Social Security, they'll have no way to live in this society. If your child goes to school in China, sorry, you need to pay Social Security first. Do you know there's a new regulation? Beijing has just issued a policy requiring both parents to contribute to Social Security contributions. If you don't plan to have children in the future and are looking for flexible self-employment, it doesn't matter whether you contribute to Social Security or not.
家人们，现在真的是乱套了，乱套了。
Fans, it's in a complete mess right now. Look at this video. Those 80-year-old grandmas, youthful and energetic, play the drums while a bunch of young people in the subways so tired fall into a nap. Those 80-year-old women with a pension of over $700, $800, or $1,400 are playing the drums. The contrast is stark. I saw someone say, "My Social Security contributions are playing the drums."
我的社保们在打架子鼓。
That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.